of WCRD Radio. I'm your host, Rich Bess, and today I'm talking to a wizard rocker you probably already know and adore, Dream Quaffle. But before we dig into what makes this magical being tick, let's start with some music. This is Hagrid's on the Lam by Muggle Mike.
It all started in Hagrid's hut.
Hagrid's hut.
He was having a support Harry Potter party in a school controlled by Death Eaters.
Death Eaters.
Might not be his best idea ever heard, but now they are knocking on your door.
On your door.
You're coming with us now, don't try to fight. That's when Hagrid turned to Grop and said, time to find out what these Death Eaters are made of.
Hagrid's on the lam, running just as fast as his legs can carry him, through the forest to the mountains. And Grop is right behind him, throwing Death Eaters right inside him. I bet they go down smooth.
And they barreled right through the door.
Through the door.
Those Death Eaters didn't know what hit them, and spells were flying through the air.
Through the air.
Hagrid knew that they couldn't last much longer. Come on, Grop, to the Forbidden Forest.
Forbidden Forest.
They'd be crazy to follow us, but follow them the Death Eaters did.
Death Eaters did.
They just didn't expect a centaur ambush.
Hagrid's on the lam, running just as fast as his legs can carry him, through the forest to the mountains. And Grop is right behind him, throwing Death Eaters right inside him. I bet they go down smooth.
But a Death Eater, he found Hagrid.
He found Hagrid.
Snuck up and said, any last words? Well, I only have one phrase of warning.
Phrase of warning.
You might want to look out behind you. And that's what Grop brought down his mighty hand.
His mighty hand.
And knocked the stink out of that stupid Death Eater. And Hagrid raised his pink umbrella.
Pink umbrella.
It said, this one's for
Harry Potter. Hagrid's on the lam, running just as fast as his legs can carry him, through the forest to the mountains. And Grop is right behind him, throwing Death Eaters right inside him. I bet they go down smooth.
I bet they go down smooth.
I bet they go down smooth.
Y me sigo enamorando y me sigo ilusionando, y cuando nos encontramos no me miras tú a mí. Si la historia empezara y a nosotros terminara, daría yo mi vida por estar junto a ti, oh sí. Toda mi magia por tenerte aquí, cerca de mí, cerca de ti. Toda mi magia por tenerte aquí, cerca de mí, cerca de mí, cerca de ti. Ya encontré la manera que me ames ya de veras, el poder del amor en ti te hará muy feliz. Y la gente pasa y pasa creyendo que soy muy mala, que embroje toda tu vida para tenerte aquí, oh Tom. Eres lo único que me hace falta a mí. Me haces muy feliz, lo tengo que admitir. Sin ti no quiero más existir. Oh Tom, sin ti no podré ser más feliz. Seremos una familia al fin, y podremos todo mal combatir. Todos piensan que estoy loca, que merezco estar sola. Es una pena que no vean que en la magia soy experta. A mí nada me hace falta, solo falta tu mirada. Seremos muy felices mientras sigas aquí, oh Tom. te vayas por favor de aquí. Vamos a nuestras vidas compartir. Sin ti no puedo más vivir, te lo advertí, te lo advertí, te lo advertí. Oh, Tom, no hay nadie que me haga tan feliz. Yo te quiero y tú me quieres a mí. Por la amor tentia, el amor reina aquí. La la la, la 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 la. Oh, Tom, no te vayas por favor de aquí. Yo te quiero y tú me quieres a mí. Por la amor tentia, el amor reina aquí. La la la, la 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 la.
Near the end, in a land far in the north, a castle stands, its towers grand. Witchcraft and wizardry are taught. In this castle you'd find a man in the dungeons dark and grey. His black cloak sweep not far behind, and they called him Severus Snape. In the dark he played his part, this master of the mind. In his heart the truth imparts, paying guilt in kind. He has sworn a lasting oath, and he knew what was at stake. In the light, in the shadows both, for Lily always. Now who will mourn all o'er your grave? Now there's no more lies. You won't hear the words of praise from the boy who had her eyes.
That was Hagrid's on the Lamb by Muggle Mike, Circulo de Amortentia by Nance de Mort, and Bart Zeal with Lament for Severus. Hagrid's on the Lamb was a special request from my most magical patron Kevin, who adds, "No, Hagrid, not the mint jelly." And now, here's Dream Quaffle. Welcome to the show, Geoff of Dream Quaffle.
Welcome to the show, Best of WZRD Radio.
This is going to be fun, I can tell.
It's already fun. I'm already enjoying myself.
Fantastic. Now, technically, this is your second time on the show.
It is. I've never been invited back anywhere before.
And the first time you were here, you said you had hopes and dreams and plans of becoming a wizard rocker.
I did have all of those things, apparently in abundance. I had ideas, like even in some cases nuggets. I didn't even know what was going to come after that interview. I actually re-listened to it recently. We talked about how TK of Totally Canuts was working on a compilation album of sea shanties. I got in touch with them, I think, right away. And they said, yeah, of course you can be on it. And then after that, boom, here comes The Tale of Hagrid. Not the first song I ever came up with an idea for, but the first one I recorded and put out.
That feels like an excellent jumping off point. Tell us about your history with Wizard Rock, how you got into it, maybe your first band you ever heard.
Sure. The last time we were here, I talked about how it was one of those things that in the fandom was always kind of lurking in the background for me. Like, I was aware of it, but for some reason, I never connected the dots in my brain and said, hey, you know what? I like Wizard Rock. I'm a musician. I like Harry Potter. I should be doing this. It never really came together, but fandoms are kind of like that. They have so many different avenues you can go down. There's fan art. There's things like a Harry Potter musical, Potter Puppet Pals. There's all these things that you can get involved in and that you can enjoy. And for some reason, it just never came together. And the only explanation I can come up with now is it wasn't the right time. Because when I was most aware of it, I had so many other things going on that I don't know if I would have produced any decent Wizard Rock anyway. But better late than never.
So do you remember the first bands you heard?
It was definitely Harry and the Potters, and it was all of these other bands that had "and" in the title, it seemed like, were the ones that were constantly popping up, like Harry and the Potters, Draco and the Malfoys, Tonks and the Aurors. And mostly I just thought, oh, cool, they're all naming their bands after characters, and they're splitting up the names, Harry and the Potters. Oh, that's clever. But no, there was so much more going on than that. There were so many bands that I was not aware of. And the more I find out about the names of all these bands that have been around for all this time, the more I wish that I had heard a little bit more of them back in the day. Something like Ronald Weasley and the Ukulele of Death.
Ukulele of Doom, yeah.
That's it. I mean, how do you even come up with a name like that? That is cool.
So what made you decide to start doing Wizard Rock of your own?
Well, when we were here together doing our crossover with Speak Beastie, I was in the middle of, I was kind of on a roll during the pandemic, not just with music, but with so many other things, thinking, what have you been waiting for all this time? What is it that's holding you back? And the answer was always, I just haven't tried it yet. But the more I learned about it, when we were all together, it just seemed like so much fun, and there was no reason not to try it. So I started trying. I started experimenting. I started thinking, if I wrote this kind of song, how would it sound? And as it turns out, I had more ideas for songs than I realized. I started carrying around a little notebook with me at work, and anytime I came up with an idea for songs, it may have been just like one line, or it could have been an idea for like a theme for a song, and I just would jot it down, and then before I knew it, I had a whole EP, and I wrote a rap song. I didn't know I could do that. But there are so many other people out there. It's almost like it's a huge thing with a lot of the Wizard Rock artists that I listen to, that even if you look at them and at first blush, they might not look like, oh, they're a person who does rap. It doesn't mean they can't, because they're not afraid to try doing it. And what comes up from that is fantastic. So I thought, you know what? I could do that. I should try that. And when I did, I was very glad that I tried it because I was actually pretty pleased with what came from it.
So you said that your Hut on the Rock song was the first song you put out there, but not the first song you wrote. Was that it?
Yeah, it was not the first song that I came up with an idea for. It was just the first one that all the way from start to finish that I finished up and got turned in.
So what was your first song spark?
The first song spark that I came up with was Just and Loyal, which is one of the songs from my EP, Magic Jukebox. And originally, when I started working on that EP, I thought that I was going to call it the Just and Loyal EP. That was the plan. But then, when I started talking to TK about the 2021 Wizard Rock sampler, I thought, you know what, this Wizard Rock thing is really starting to consume a lot of my time, and I am really, really happy about that. And it's awesome, and I'm meeting so many incredible people, and there's fantastic representation from all different walks of life, and I want to do something to kind of celebrate how cool Wizard Rock is and how much it's accomplished. So from that, I came up with the song Magic Jukebox, and that ended up being not only the title of that EP, but the song I submitted for the sampler. And the best part of that for me, one of my favorite parts about doing Wizard Rock in general, is the opportunity to collaborate with so many other amazingly talented people, because TK and their partner Dee Dee actually provided some brass instruments for Magic Jukebox, which I think just made it so much cooler.
Now, I know that we also discussed this when you were here last. It's so fun having a repeat interviewee.
I know!
But maybe we have new listeners, or it's been a year, they don't remember. Where did your band name come from?
Dream Quaffle was, when I first signed up for Pottermore, it was, you sign up for Pottermore, people will remember, and it gives you a bunch of generated names that also have numbers attached to them. I do not remember the number. I just remember looking at Dream Quaffle and thinking, oh, there's something there. So I used that, and I didn't use it for a whole lot else until a couple of years later when I fell really deep into listening to the podcast Aloha Mora, and I wanted to join in on the conversations on the forum. I needed a username, and for some reason that name, Dream Quaffle, was still stuck in the back of my head, and I thought, oh, this will be good. So I used it for that, and then when the time finally came for me to do my Wizard Rock, I said, Dream Quaffle sounds like a band name, and guaranteed it's a band name I don't think anybody else is gonna think of, just because if it weren't for Pottermore randomly generating this combination of words, I would not have thought of it myself. So now it's Dream Quaffle across the board. Pretty much everything about my online presence now, if you see Dream Quaffle, that's me.
That is a benefit of using a uniquely randomly generated name. No one else is likely to have thought of it.
Yep. Nope, definitely not going to be copied.
So you mentioned that you've collaborated with some other Wizard Rockers. Did any of the bands you'd listened to or people you met in the community help inspire your music or just the creation of Dream Quaffle?
Yeah, because the thing that inspires me the most about all the different other Wizard Rock artists that are out there is that if I go back and listen to the first couple of songs they put out, and then kind of take that musical journey with them from where they started to where they are now, I can see them growing into this very clear and very passionate identity. Like, I go back and I listen to the very first album that How Airplanes Fly put out, and it's incredible how much maturity and how much soul there is and how much development there is between the first album, which is amazing, and the more recent stuff that Avery is putting out now. Because, Avery wrote a song called Hoggy Warty Hogwarts, which sounds like a ridiculous combination of words, but when you actually listen to that song, the instrumentation that's in there and how much meaning there is in those words, it just, every time, it gets me. But you have that. You have TK of Totally Canuts, which a lot of the things that they put out is very, very LGBTQIA plus focused, and I love seeing that, because that's one of my favorite things about Wizard Rock, is that there's so much of it, and TK really, really does it right. And the band overall, that I feel like I end up coming back to a lot, especially recently, is the Blibbering Humdingers, just because I never get tired of hearing them talk about themselves. I've listened to that interview many times because, I mean, they're a family band. They cross multiple fandoms. They do different styles of music. And that's probably the thing that's influenced me the most, because I don't know how I would define my style other than to say it's a box of chocolates. Because you never know what you're going to get. Whenever I get in and start working on something, I always say I'm going in the lab because I don't know what I'm going to mix up. I don't know what's going to come out. It might be a rap song. I might have my ukulele out like I did with Fickle Fudge. I might try a whole band thing with a drum track. I have a beat that Aguamenti made for me that I'm working on something with that. And it has incredible potential to be one of the best things I feel like I've worked on. So the other wizard rock stars that are out there that I'm listening to are inspiring me just by doing what they're doing, and they don't even know it. But I try to tell them how much I appreciate them all the time.
Now, would you say box of chocolate or maybe Birdie Bots?
Yeah.
Because my next question is, if Birdie Bots made a Dream Quaffle bean, what would the flavor be?
You know, if they made a Birdie Bots Dream Quaffle bean, it would probably be a combination of things that if you just read the description sounds like it wouldn't go together. But then when you eat it, you're like, oh, this actually kind of works. You know, maybe something weird like raspberry and roast potato. I don't know. That, to me, that sounds like something that wouldn't be too bad. But it would be a combination of things that at first glance doesn't seem like it would probably work. But then if your mind is open to it and your taste buds are open to it, then it has potential to be something really, really special.
This special release Wizard Rocker collection.
Oh, for sure. No, we should go back sometime and we should do all of the other, like, what if Totally Canuts had a Birdie Bots bean?
Ooh.
And what if there was a Slither Puff Birdie Bots bean? Oh, that would be a fun game.
I feel like they'd have to be like mint chocolate chip, some classic combination.
Somebody has to be mint chocolate chip because I love it. That would be the one that if they had that thing like they do with Jelly Belly beans where they have all the different flavors separated so you can get as many of each as you want, I would just pull the lever on that mint chocolate chip flavor and just let it fill up my trunk.
You know, Slither's spouse, his favorite bean flavor in the world is buttered popcorn. So I think that would have to be his.
Well, I've always said that Slither's spouse is a person of very refined taste and class, and this proves it. I myself am an aficionado of the buttered popcorn jelly bean.
Would you look at that? A music break. I see Ian Martin and I'm the Bloody Baron up ahead. Let's take a listen.
Around 982, a protege of Slytherin who's known to me and you. One of the first of students who attended this fine school, gaining wizarding knowledge while learning all the rules. I chanced upon a fair maid named Helena Ravenclaw. My heart, it was befuddled against what you'd call the law. She rebuked all my advances and was clearly quite blasé, but I continued to look after her, oh, even to this day. I'm the Bloody Baron whom you see every day, haunting all the halls and making merriment and gay, surprising all the students with my bloody robe and chains. But I'm helping you all out as you experience growing pains. Now Helena ran away to fair Albania with her mother's diadem and my unrequited love. Rowena, her grey mother, sent me to get her back, but instead of coming peacefully, I went on the attack. Helena's blunt refusal infuriated me. I stabbed her several times with a knife, as you can see. I knew I did the wrong thing and stabbed myself to death. Now I wear these chains as penance for what little I have left. I'm the bloody baron whom you see every day, haunting all the halls and making merriment and gay, surprising all the students with my bloody robe and chains. But I'm helping you all out as you experience growing pains. Bloody baron whom you see every day, haunting all the halls and making merriment and gay, surprising all the students with my bloody robe and chains. But I'm helping you all out as you experience growing pains. I'm the bloody baron whom you see every day, haunting all the halls and making merriment and gay, surprising all the students with my bloody robe and chains. But I'm helping you all out as you experience growing pains.
That was Ian Martin and I'm the Bloody Baron, Slytherin, Black, and Quidditch, and Dumbledore with Flight of the Post Owl. Now back to the interview. What is your dream performance spot? I don't think you've done a live performance yet as Dream Quaffle.
No, definitely not.
So your first spot in the wizarding world, in the real world, where, hordes of people would come to see you perform, where would it be?
If I was performing in the wizarding world, it would have to be one of those intimate little open mic nights at a place like, if it's in Diagon Alley, it would probably be at Flourish and Blast, just because the idea of performing Wizard Rock in a bookstore sounds really, really fun. Or if it's in Hogsmeade, you could do maybe like a Wizard Rock Palooza kind of concert in a courtyard in the middle of Hogsmeade Village. Maybe the Hogwarts students send letters to their parents by owl and say, hey, there's going to be some live music in Hogsmeade. Why don't we have like a family weekend? And all the Wizard Rock stars come out and they play for all the Hogwarts students and their families. That'd be fun, right?
I like that. You wouldn't want to be the Valentine's Day performer in the corner at Madame Puttyfoot's?
Hard pass. Hard pass. Hard pass. Nope. No. I don't need to see angsty teenagers having awkward makeouts and breakups at the same time. That's a lot to process. Now, as far as performing in the real world, you are correct that I have not performed live, and it's not that I would never be interested in doing it. It's just that it seems to me that especially now, performing Wizard Rock live is something that you have to do in the right place at the right time. Like if I go to a library downtown where I live and say, hey, I'm going to play Harry Potter themed music, I know how well that's going to go over. I've heard a lot of stories from Wizard Rockers about times that they performed at libraries and they thought it was going to go terribly, like people would be crossing their arms and just shaking their heads and not enjoying themselves, or God forbid, heckling, and that didn't happen. And I'm glad that didn't happen to them, but at the same time, I've been to the libraries downtown, and I don't think it would go that terribly. I just don't think it would be the right venue for me. So for me, if I ever had the opportunity to go to one of these conventions where I know that there's going to be people who are definitely down for the Wizard Rock, I would love to perform for those crowds, just because I know that they would be there for it before we all set up and started playing. Like instant excitement. That would be the kind of venue in the real world that I would love to play for.
Well, I hope you get to do it sometime soon.
I do too, and it would be a perfect opportunity for me to meet some of my fellow Wizard Rockers in person, because we interact with each other online all the time. And in some cases, that might be all we ever get, because we live on opposite ends of the country, or in some cases, we live in different parts of the world. But you know what? That's okay too. I mean, I have friends in Sweden. I didn't know I had friends in Sweden, but I do.
What is your best advice for other newcomers to Wizard Rock, people who might be a little bit nervous about jumping in or who've recorded music and aren't sure? What would you tell them?
The first thing I would tell them is I would give them some advice that someone gave to me and my friend Juliana when we started doing a podcast together, and that's make the kind of content that you would want to hear. Don't worry about, is this going to be fun for other people? How many people are there? And if you're nervous about the numbers, don't look at them. Like the number of plays that you get, the number of downloads you get, those things aren't important. What's important is that you feel good about what you've made and that you've put it out there, because the world could always use a little bit more of it. And if there's something in you that you feel like you want to put out there, then you should. And when you're doing that, my second piece of advice is don't ever let other people be your standard, because you're already good enough. I mentioned before how much soul there is in the music that Avery puts out through How Airplanes Fly. And every time I listen to them, I think, God, I wish I could write those lyrics, or sometimes I wish it felt that effortless in my voice when I sing. But you know what? Avery has that because that's what Avery is meant to have. And what I have that I'm putting out is what I'm meant to have. And that is good enough. I got an email from somebody once when they downloaded my album where they broke down what they thought about each song. And when they got to the part where they were talking about the only sad Wizard Rock song I ever wrote, they didn't actually write words. They just sent me a gif of somebody crying dramatically because apparently that's how that song made them feel. I never expected that somebody would have that kind of response to something I wrote, but then it happened. And even if it hadn't, that would have been fine because I felt good about what I made and I felt good putting it out. And what comes of it after that is what comes of it after that. It's impossible to know, so it's pointless to get worked up about. And the last thing that I would say as far as advice for potential Wizard Rock stars is if you have questions, the Wizard Rock community at large will support you. I've learned a lot about how to finish putting a song together, different things I can use to help my sound quality be a little bit better. I mentioned before, I have a beat from Aguamenti. The beat I created for Serious Rap, I was able to do because Aguamenti helped me figure out how to do that. I didn't know, but I reached out and said, hey, does anybody have any advice on how to do this? And I got tons of it. People in the Wizard Rock community are so friendly about sharing with other people what they know. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't worry if it's good enough compared to other people. And if you have any questions, please reach out to the rock community and ask them because they were happy to help you.
Even retired folks have come on and said, just email me or DM me on Twitter. There's always someone who will have an answer for you.
Oh yeah, there are lots of people out there who aren't, some of them have retired, and understandably so for different reasons. And there are some people who haven't officially retired, they're just not as active in it as they used to be. But they're still happy when people reach out to them and say, hey, your music meant a lot to me. Could you tell me how to make this work a little bit better? And they'll usually do it for you.
Now, I know you have a degree or two in music.
Uh-huh.
So what's a really good technical piece of advice?
Hydrate. Keeping your instrument and your body hydrated is very, very important. And during OWL Fest, every time somebody would take a bottle or a cup or something that had water in it and they would take a drink, I don't remember how this happened, but everybody in the group chat that was going during the performances would suddenly start typing Aguamenti, the water charm. That's very, very important. And I know that especially in rock and roll, people don't talk about vocal warm-ups. But, you mentioned I have degrees in music. I have a bachelor's degree in vocal performance. I have a master's degree in choral conducting. So I cannot stress enough the importance of keeping your instrument good and warm. There's YouTube tutorials for everything now, so definitely there are plenty of online resources that you can check out that can help you figure out how to keep your vocal instrument up. And as far as instrumental technique, just make sure that you are taking good care of your physical instrument, not just your voice. Like, I have guitars, I have ukuleles, I have a violin. I make sure that they stay in their cases. I don't leave them lying around. I don't leave them exposed to the elements. Like, I very rarely do I ever take a guitar outside. There's nothing wrong with playing a guitar outside, but definitely you don't want to leave it out there. Instruments are important, and if you can't afford the expensive ones, it's okay. The more affordable guitars that are out there can work perfectly fine. Just spend some time with it and get to know your instrument and make sure that you look after it, because your instruments eventually they become a part of you. So you have to take care of them, and you have to take care of yourself.
Perfect. Self-care is a metaphor for music.
Yes, exactly.
Aguamenti!
This is actually coffee. Sorry.
That's hydration. Kind of.
It kind of is. I choose to believe that.
There's no coffee charm.
Isn't there? You know what? Maybe, okay, song idea coming to mind on the show, Asio Coffee.
I love it.
Maybe a song about magical coffee. That's my jumping off point. I don't know what kind of song this is going to be yet, but that's the idea. See, this is a little peek at my process. You and I are having a conversation about coffee, and you say, oh, there's no coffee charm, and then this little light bulb goes off, and I'm like, oh, magical coffee. I could do that. That's the kind of thing I would do.
Well, I was going to ask, what are you working on now?
You can still ask me that if you'd like. I'd be happy to answer it.
I feel like you just did. We have a coffee song coming.
Yes, we have a coffee song coming, so that's crucial.
So what else are you working on these days?
Well, I mentioned my EP Magic Jukebox. When I was working on that, there were a couple of songs that weren't quite finished, and there were a couple ideas that weren't fully realized yet. And when I looked at those, I realized they were all either covers of existing Wizard Rock songs that I'd gotten permission to record, or they were songs that already exist that I was doing parodies of. So I have, hopefully by summer I can finish this. I have an album of covers and parodies that I'm calling my Polyjuice project. And I'm really looking forward to getting that out. Some of the best and friendliest wizard rockers that I've gotten to know have given me their blessing to do my own versions of some of their songs. And I'm looking forward to paying homage to some of the other great wizard rockers that have come before me. And people who have listened to your show, they might recall that you did an episode of music about nifflers. And you very generously used one of my songs as the title, and it was called Niffler Parade, which was a ton of fun to write. I have a whole mini album coming that I'm calling Lullabies for Magical Children. Because when you think about the Tales of Beetle the Bard, wizarding children have their own bedtime stories and fairy tales, but I never heard anybody say that magical children have their own lullabies. So I've got a few of those that I've been working on. And that one might not be everybody's cup of tea, but there are a lot of people in the Wizard Rock community who have children, or some of whom even at some point they may have grandchildren and they might still be interested in this stuff. So they'll have lullabies that they can play for their magical children.
Or for themselves. Niffler Parade is one of my favorites.
Yeah. You know what? I would love to do an amped up version of Niffler Parade, like with really fast bass drums and electric guitar. That would be really, really cool. I would have to probably get somebody to come in and help me out with that.
I was going to say, that sounds like a Potterhead project.
Well, speaking of collaborations, I'm not going to give too much away, but there is a compilation album in the works of rock swaps. And I have been given an artist that I like and respect very, very much. And all I'm going to tell you for now is I am taking one of their first Wizard Rock songs they ever wrote. It was just them and a ukulele, but I am turning it into country Wizard Rock. That's right, country Wizard Rock is coming, and it might just feature a member of Draco and the Malfoys on banjo. Maybe. Possibly.
Speaking of comps, I think you recently put one together yourself for a certain project.
I did. I was asked to serve as the lead organizer for the first Wizrocklopedia Compilation Club album of the year. We ended up calling it Alphabet Soup because it's an LGBTQIA plus comp. And when I first got asked to do this project, I thought, how on earth am I going to find 10 people to be a part of this? And then by the end, when I looked at the lineup of people that we had, I was absolutely confident that this album was going to be nothing short of incredible, and that's what we got. I mean, we've got people and their ukuleles, we've got rap songs, we have Billie Eilish parodies. I am especially pleased that we got Callista Flame and her excellent song Sad Bye on that album. I have that one on my cardio playlist. I listen to that while I'm running. Things like this are always a little bit sad, but also very, very special. We have the farewell song from The Weirdos Are Out. They were able to do one last song for us, and it literally goes out with a bang. The song is called Firework, and every time I hear it, like I said, it makes me a little bit sad, but it also makes me incredibly glad because what they have created and what their legacy is in Wizard Rock is just, it's like art that has come to life and picked up a guitar and started doing Wizard Rock songs. So putting that album together was very, very special. And I hope that lots of people get the opportunity to hear it because it's even more fun to listen to than it was to put together. And it's proof that when a group of people come together and cooperate in a spirit of music and fellowship and just joy for this thing that has given us so much joy in turn over the years. It proves that this space, this fandom, really does belong to us. People are free to come and go from it as they will for their own reasons, and we bear them absolutely no ill will if they choose to step out. But for the ones who remain, I wanted to be part of giving them something very, very special, and I was glad to be able to do that for them.
Whoops! Time for another music break. Here's I Open at the Close by Muggle Death Camp.
Illuminators might take it back to you. I might seem like a stranger, but deep inside my love resides. This whole subsides and Ron wants you back. Do you know how hard it has been? The weather's cold and mean. You and I are poles apart, but you still have a home in my heart.
deep inside my love resides. This whole subsides and Ron wants you back. I lie in my attic room while staring at my Quidditch broom, just thinking, should I stay and cry? I can't see you in my mind's eye. I contemplate whether to fly without saying goodbye. Weasley's, should I be the braver guy and leave here? Inside my love resides. This whole subsides and Ron wants you back. Ronald Teaspoon Weasley, the illuminator's guide, did you home to me? You don't seem like a stranger. Cause deep inside your love resides. This whole subsides and Ronald is back.
I peeked in here and looked up there and checked once more right down the hall. I took some parchment and a quill and pinned my note up on the wall. You see, I've lost all my possessions. Some people hide them all around. I guess you think I'm a bit odd, so I'll just wait until they're found. So here's a list of my missing books and clothes, in case you should find any of those. So please return my things. I'm not looking for a fight, but you've taken my belongings. Though I guess that it's alright, 'cause I know they'll come back. I'm just not really sure when. Still they always seem to turn up in the end. took the list and signed my name and chose a seat in this dusty place. A pub's a strange spot for a meeting. They answered questions, made their case. Some folks are just so narrow-minded, they need to see things to believe. But they can't stop us from learning, 'cause we refuse to stay naive. I've always known there's darkness lurking out there. Now I finally found people who care. And here we are, casting spells behind the door, and we'll keep tossing sparks till we're ready for the war, and we will stand our ground until the very end. This feels almost like having friends. So please return my things. I'm not looking for a fight, but you've taken my belongings. Though I guess that it's alright, 'cause I know they'll come back. I'm just not really sure when. Still they always seem to turn up in the end. And here we are, casting spells behind the door, and we'll keep tossing sparks till we're ready for the war, and we will stand our ground until the very end. This feels almost, this feels almost, this feels almost like having
That was I Open at the Close by Muggle Death Camp, Crimson Beloved by the Misuse of Muggle Artifacts Office, and Lost and Found by the Lovegoods. Lost and Found was a special request from WZRD's lovely patron Geoff, who dedicates it to my excellent magical homie Ash. Congratulations on your marriage and your new home. Thank you so much for coming on today. It's been awesome talking with you. Where can WZRD listeners find you online?
Well, of course, all of the Wizard Rock that I have put out is on my Bandcamp. I believe if you search for Dream Quaffle, you'll find not only the stuff I've put out myself, but the other things that I've been a part of, like the Hot on the Rock compilations and the Jingle Spells album that came out at the end of last year. If you look for me on Facebook, that page is specifically for my Wizard Rock related things. If you find Dream Quaffle on Twitter and Instagram, I do post about my Wizard Rock through those pages, but I also do everything else. Like, if you go to my Instagram and you look at Dream Quaffle, you will see a lot of Wizard Rock stuff, but you will also see my cosplay photos from the convention that I was at recently. And for a lot of people, if that's your thing, then prepare to have fun, because according to my cousin, Judy, she tells me that I have really stepped up my selfie game over the years. So if you want to see me step up my selfie game, I guess, then you can check out my Instagram and my Twitter. I'm Dream Quaffle on there as well.
You said you had a particular way you wanted to choose the song for the end.
Oh, yeah. So I thought it would be fun if we turned this into a little game. Because like I said, you never know what you're going to get. So I've got 4 songs here. 2 of them are covers of Wizard Rock songs by other people, and 2 of them are parodies. I'll have you pick a number 1 through 4, and then because we're nerds, we have to not just rock, paper, scissors, we will rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock. And then whichever ones don't get picked, I will tell you which ones they are, just to give people a little preview of what's coming.
I love it. All right.
All right, so number 1 through 4, what do you got?
3.
Okay, you pick number 3, I'll pick number 1. Ready? We'll say rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock, and then throw on 6.
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock. That's lizard?
Mm-hmm.
Lizard, poison, Spock. So mine is out. I had, did I have 1, you said?
I said 3. I don't remember what you said.
You said 3, I had 1. Okay, so, all right, so number 1 is Being Me by Totally Canuts.
Oh, I love that song.
I do too. It's the first one I reached out to TK and I said, is it okay with you if I record a version of this? And they said, absolutely, you can. I can't wait to hear it. All right. So you want number 2 or do you want number 4?
4.
Okay. Then I'll take number 2. Ready?
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock. All right. You've got paper. I've got rock.
I'm crushing this.
Yeah, you literally are crushing it. So number 2 is out. And number 2 is Knickerbocker Glory by Hawthorne and Holly.
Oh, that would have been so good.
So since those are our 2 covers, that means that we're getting a parody today. You ready? All right, you want number 3 or number 4?
I'll take 3.
All right, I'll take number 4. Rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock. Oh, we both threw scissors. Throw it again. Rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock. Oh, Spock vaporizes scissors. You win.
Yeah.
You had 3. Okay, so number 4 is Dolores, which is a parody of the Authority song by John Mellencamp. Ooh, indeed.
All right, magical friends. We're going to cut to the last tidbits, and then Dream Quaffle is going to share whatever the winning song was with us. Congratulations to Amanda, the first patron to guess last episode's theme of the Weasley family. There aren't nearly enough songs about Fred and George that aren't tragic, so get on that, magical friends. And don't forget, those Swish and Flick CDs are going fast, but there are still a few up for grabs for the first guesses. You can get a copy of all the songs you heard today for your very own. Just follow the links in the transcript at wcrdradiopod.com. Do pick up your favorites to support the musicians who made them. Without our Wizard Rockers, we wouldn't be here. If you want discounts on WZRD merch, episodes a day early, and the ability to ask your favorite rockers what their favorite candy is, you can join the WZRD Radio Patreon at patreon.com/WZRDRadiopod. It's $2 Muggle dollars a month, and, although I say so myself, a total bargain. As always, you can get more WZRD/HostWitch content on all the social media platforms, including Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at WZRD Radiopod. You can also comment on the transcript or email me at wzrdradiopod@gmail.com if you're more of an unsocial media person. And now, here's Dream Quaffle.
So the song that we have to share for you today is very, very special because it was actually born from a conversation I had with my friend Irving Cateman as a bonus episode of Alohomora. We were talking about chapter 33 of Deathly Hallows, and because there's so much wizard rock surrounding that relationship between Snape and Lily and James, we realized that there is a lot of potential in a parody of The Winner Takes It All by ABBA. So Irvin actually wrote out all the lyrics and sent them to me, and I was able to put them to music. So what you have here is a song about Snape surrendering his relationship to Lily, and they call the song Chapter 33. I don't want to talk about things we've gone through, though it's hurting me. Now it's history. I played all my cards, and that's what Potter did too. Nothing more to say, no more race to play. The winner takes it all, the loser standing small. James gets the victory, here's your destiny. He weaponized my charms, suspending me in midair. His cruelty made no sense, but you came to my defense. I did not want a savior, thinking I'd be strong there, but I was a fool, saying something cruel. I asked penance for my vice, but you chose to excise your friend of 5 whole years from those whom you call dear. The winner takes it all, the loser had to fall. It's simple and it's plain, why should I complain? Now it's Potter you will kiss, I never got to kiss you. Nothing feels the same since I called you that name. I regret my foolish pride, and you must know that I miss you. But what can I say? Some feelings never fade. Lily, you will decide, the likes of me abide. I was dealt a fatal blow, always feeling low. So we are strangers then, not a lover or a friend. After that fateful brawl, the winner takes it all. I don't want to talk if it makes you feel sad, and I understand you'll hate my Dark Lord's brand. I apologize that I made you feel bad, slurs at your expense. I'd no self-confidence, but you see, the winner takes it all. The winner takes it all. The winner takes it all. The loser standing small. James gets the victory. Here's your destiny. So we are strangers then, not a lover or a friend. After that fateful brawl, the winner takes it all.